All right, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. It always seems that we come online laughing at each
I know,
other.
yeah, because something's usually happening just before we get going. That's why.
The dogs are out today, and
Dogs are out, the washing machine's going off, somebody's ringing the doorbell,
it's
iPads are
always in
falling
my house.
over.
It's never in yours. I reckon you must sit in this like secret shed in your house that no one knows
I've
where it
literally got,
is.
I'm literally got a spare room and a desk and a chair, and I put everything on there. Don't move.
You're lucky.
That's what it is. The spare room, if you can't see it obviously because we've got good backgrounds on, but everything is just piled up. It's just
Yeah,
dumping.
yeah.
It's a
You
dumping
feel,
room, but it's quiet and it's dirty enough.
yeah.
Oh, right. Yeah, just gonna approach the subject today a little bit about when to walk away and how important the course is or running your dog actually is. I think that's the on the different topics we've spoken obviously about equipment and course design and all the bits and pieces that go with that. But sometimes we have those little moments where we're going, do I need to do this course or do I not need to do this course? Is it suitable for me? Is it suitable for my dog? Um, does it get me to where I need to be? All of those different sort of questions. And then being okay with walking away if you need to.
Sorry. I think there's so many factors to take into account here, isn't it?
Yeah,
Firstly, how far you've driven
yes,
for a competition is
yeah,
a big factor. We all want to run our dogs right. That's why we go across country. Everything's
yeah,
expensive this year. Everything, price of petrol
yeah.
is it's all costing us a lot more money. Um, but that is one big factor, isn't it? It's how far I've driven. I've driven like 2 hours to be here,
Yeah,
and I do I need to? You don't want to be asking yourself the question, do I need to run this class or not?
yeah. But then I suppose it depends also on um, course designs and what course designs suit you and your dog, what you prefer, what you don't like, because when you walk certain courses, and this isn't obviously from a course bashing point of view. I'm not bothered either way from the course because, of course, some courses suit us, some courses don't. As long as they're safe, I've got no issue either way to me. But it's just having that choice of when you walk a course and go, you know what, this is going
I've
to
done
be
it.
this is
I
going to be
have done it.
detrimental to what I'm trying to achieve more than beneficial.
Yeah, I have walked away from a course that I haven't liked. I have walked away from a course that I knew I couldn't, that was impossible for me and my dog. It was too technical.
Yeah.
Was, in my opinion, was
So
asking too
knowing your
much.
limitations as well.
Yeah, yeah, and you don't want. You've also. You don't want to. Sometimes you don't. You're not in the frame of mind where you want to set yourself up for a failure, is it?
No, and also especially with the dogs as well, we're always trying to keep our dogs happy and confident and stuff like that. So do we want to run courses that we know are going to sort of demotivate them slightly? Especially if they're not always motivated anyway. Some dogs are highly motivated. Some dogs need a little bit more encouragement. So if you've got a dog that needs a little bit more encouragement, but the course is going to lend you to working them harder than they need to be worked. So then they're going to get demotivated. So is that worth it, to demotivate your dog for one course? But then I suppose it also depends on what level that is. So if it's your bog standard, novice class 3 to 5, or your 6 to 7 class that's got nothing on it, no qualifier, no anything,
But
then
lots of people should. Lots of our listeners don't do qualifiers as well. So
yeah,
I think from our point of view, we have important runs and
well,
I'm
even
sure.
those you've got to make a choice on those. So let's a champ run, Olympia qualifier, a Crufts run, whatever that is. If you turn up for your champ run and you walk the course and go, you know what, this isn't for me, but you spent 18 quid on that class, are you at what point do you go, you know what, I'm happy walking away from this?
Yeah, and I would hate for any judge to take that as a personal
Yeah, it's
on.
not at all. It's
Well,
just
no,
the
exactly.
course, you know.
So I went to oh, what was it? Fine Champ. I
Yeah,
did Fine Champ. Paul Hinchley was the judge who we've had on. Got a lot of
yeah,
respect for him. Um, I walked the Champ Agility, and there was an A-frame there, obviously because it was Champ
yeah.
Agility. Well, I lost Kippy up this A-frame about 4 times, 5 times, if not 6 times, and it was like obstacle 4 or something. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Um, and I walked the champ jumping, and I decided that I'd had such a bad time in the champ agility, nothing to do with anything other than my handling. And I didn't want to run the champ jumping, and I went home. I just decided that we'd have a lovely weekend. You know, I can't get anywhere. It wasn't a course that I could go and give him my dog a blast with me.
yeah.
So I did. I took a decision to go home, based on the fact that it was just going to, you know, not to be the right thing for me and
Yeah,
Kip.
yeah, yeah. And I suppose you also have to think about your frame of mind, you know, your
Frame
just
of
even
mind
your,
is a biggie, Stuart.
yeah, yeah, or even your goal, you know, your goals, your, you know, what you're trying to achieve. You know, you have to sort of look at those as well. But state of mind is massive, I think.
It,
Um,
it is, but then also me and you are great ones to jump on our bandwagon about positive mindset and
yeah,
everything.
yeah,
And if you do walk a course that is technically more difficult, then shouldn't we be trying to embrace, or not more difficult, but you know, something that's not quite for us? Shouldn't we try and embrace the fact that we should be running that course?
I suppose we should do in a certain. I suppose we should attack a little bit more of it. But there's also, I look at it from the also from an element of my dog's point of view. Does my dog need to do that? Regardless of what I need, does my dog need to do that?
So, in which case, then you're asking that is your opinion on that course.
Yeah. So on that certain course, and again, I want to, you know, I want to point out, I'm not bashing any judges or courses or anything, but on certain courses that I've walked or certain courses that I've run, the ones that I've walked and walked away from, I'm happy with walking away from. Some of them I've run them and then I've been disappointed that I actually ran them. And there was nothing actually wrong with the course. They just didn't suit my dog's skill set or my dog's mindset even. Um, so it wasn't beneficial to us both to be running that course.
No, I do have that more at the moment. I get super protective over my dogs, probably too protective over my dogs, and I
Yeah,
get that more with my baby dog at the moment. I'd be like, oh, I don't need to pet her through that. I don't want to do that. I don't, and I was
yeah,
like, Emma, get on with it.
yeah. I mean, there is a point where, you know, especially we're trying to look at getting our dogs up the grades, and you know, especially with the younger, the lower graded dogs, we need to think about, you know, we can't always afford to be missing out all of the courses. But there also has to be a point where you go, you know what, that one's just one step too far for me, or
Okay, so maybe it's better to word it another way. When is it okay not to walk away? When should we sit? You know, when should we talk ourselves out of walking away?
yeah, when should we just pull our socks up and just go, right, just get
Just
on
go
and
and
do
get
it?
on with it. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
exactly.
exactly. Yeah, I
We
mean,
know
there's
we all have a choice.
yeah, yeah, we have a choice. But it's just that it was just one of those things. I've had a couple of people sort of mention it as well, talking about, you know, the weekend when they chose not to do certain courses, or they, you know, they wish they hadn't have run that course, or they wish this, and I just tried to figure out, you know, when is it okay, like I say, when is it okay to walk away, or when is it actually more okay to talk yourself into it and do it anyway. And maybe look at it as a training option
Well, I do
more than
that
a
a lot
competitive
with
option.
my babe. I think I find it easier to look at my training plan with Nairobi at the moment. You know, every time I'm like, oh, I haven't trained that, and I'm just going home, and I have masses of things that I want to train. Whereas with Kippy, I'm bad at running, I've decided 6 to 7 courses.
Okay.
Just because I don't get a lot out of it. So I get a lot out of my Olympia qualifiers. I get a lot out of champ. I get you. Do you know what I mean? But I just find 6 to 7 courses. Sometimes I just can't be bothered to run it, and that's terrible. So,
It is a little bit, but you can look at that also from, like, say, is it necessary to run it? That's the difference. And I think you've got to be okay with whether it's necessary. Like, so if you've got a training plan or a goal or something you're trying to achieve, then it might be necessary to do those 6, 7 courses, because it might
I
be a
think
case.
I need a new goal with Kippy.
So when I
We need
walk
to run
some
an
courses,
episode to set Emma a new goal with Kip.
yeah. So when you walk the courses, you have to have a reason to walk the course, a reason to run the course. So sometimes just doing a normal 6, 7 course for me might be, I want to get an extra dog walk in today.
Yeah.
You know, I need to get my seesaw in today, or I want to try that weave entry or whatever. So not always looking at the course as a whole. We're just going, right, okay, what can I get out of this course here? That's the difference. I suppose we should be looking at that. So that, I suppose that's answering our question. It's not when is it okay, or should we be walking away? Maybe we should be looking for the opportunity to go, well, I'm going to do this bit because I want to get to that bit.
Yeah, I think maybe when is it okay not to walk away is when you're talking yourself out of something, because that is positive mindset that we both really feel that.
Yeah, so almost like, I suppose, the difference of not wanting to do it or not being bothered.
Yeah, yeah.
So if you're walking away just because you can't be bothered, and that's a little bit, I think that's a wrong way of looking at it, if that makes sense. So if you can't be bothered, then you should be talking yourself into
I think it's okay if you deem something, if you feel in your opinion that something's dangerous or not suitable for you and your dog, then it's perfectly okay to walk away. And I think you should embrace walking away quietly. You know, you don't
exactly. You don't have to say anything. You don't have to do anything. No, exactly.
No, don't have to give your opinion to anyone else, because someone's going to take that the wrong way. Somebody else might absolutely love the skill set that it's testing.
Yeah. And most of the courses that we walked away from, there's been plenty of clear rounds. There's been plenty of people that get around it. So it can't, you know, it's not impossible. It's not that bad. But just certain courses, I suppose, that just at some point you have to look at it and go, do I need to do it? Am I choosing not to do it just because I can't be bothered, or am I choosing not to do it because it?
Maybe we should talk to each other, or talk to yourself how you would talk to others. So I do this sometimes. I had an occasion over the weekend where I just talked to myself like I would talk to another trainer. Like I would talk to somebody that I'm training, and I went on and did a really good job of running the course, you know, because I just felt like I needed to kick myself up the bum, to be honest with you. But equally, I think it's okay not to be okay. Not, you know, it's okay to want to walk away from it or not want to walk away from it. And the other thing is, sometimes if I get, and I try not to do it, I'm sure we all do, but I try not to do it when you're walking around a course and go, oh, that's so difficult, I don't want to do that, that's not right, you know, blah 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 blah. And in your head, somebody's saying it to you, and in your head you're thinking, I thought it was all right, really.
yeah. And then, but by the time you finish walking it 2 or 3 times, you're now on their level, and you're going, actually, it's horrible. Yeah, why did they do that? Why did they do that? And you hadn't even noticed it before.
No, that's right. Yeah,
it's hard, isn't it? It's hard.
It is hard, and I think it falls in nicely. You know, it's what we were talking about in the last episode when we were talking about equipment. You know, if you deem something that's not right and not suitable, whether we think it's too hot, too cold, then it's okay to walk away. And there are times when we should speak to people and when we shouldn't speak to people about it.
Yeah, and the ways that you speak to people and don't speak to people about it as well, that's the difference. You know, if you seriously got an issue with it, then go and speak to somebody. If it's just the case that you don't like it, then tough.
Have you ever walked away from your first champ run? So I think we've all walked away from our second one if we've been eliminated in the first and it's too hot, too whatever, we decided not to run that. But have you ever walked away from your first one?
Not my first one. No,
No.
I've always ran the first round, rightly or wrongly. I don't know. Sometimes wrongly, sometimes right. I don't know.
Yeah.
I have come out of certain runs going, I wish I'd never done that. I wish I hadn't gone in. I wish I
Right.
was scratched. Those sort
And
of
what
things.
would you have said to yourself if you were training you at that time?
So my first question would be why? Why don't you want to do it? And then work back from there. And then if I can find a positive to running it, then I'd run it. But if I can't find a positive to run it, then I won't run it.
Yeah,
But my
yeah.
first question would be why. And if it's not a strong enough why, then get on and do it. That's how I would try and do it. But there's got to be, I think, there's always got to be a learning point in there somewhere. And
Yeah.
even if walking away is a learning point,
I think
then
I'm going to get better at that for my higher grade dog, for Kippy. I want to get better at that, at finding a reason. So yeah, because I'm not chasing Olympia this year. I'm only doing it if I'm at a competition because, he's 8 now and there's a lot of faster dogs than him. Champ, I enjoy Champ. Of course, we all want to get that Champ ticket, but it's very rare.
Yeah.
So I've got, and I'm not doing international with him anymore. So I don't want to retire him. He's too good for that.
No.
And I love running him. And and I think I need to find my why more, if I'm completely honest.
Yeah.
Why am I doing this? Just because I love him and because he smiles a lot.
Yeah. But it also could be because it's learning, it's teaching you for your next dog, for your next dog, for your next dog.
Yeah, I
All of those.
guess.
So there's always a reason to be doing it at
Yeah.
some point.
Yeah.
But then also we have to look at the dogs, as long as they're happy doing it, then that's got to be good enough.
He tells me if he's not happy.
If they're not happy doing it, then obviously we'll stop it. But if they're happy doing it, that's got to be half a decent why there.
Maybe that's a good way of looking at it, Stuart, is would your dog choose to run this course? Would your dog choose to run this course? That's a good way of making a decision.
Yeah.
Would your dog choose to run this course if it with you? Would your partner? Because at the end of the day, we're representing our partners as well.
Yeah.
And we make a choice. We're making our choice for us and our partners. So yeah, I think that's a really good way of
looking at Would you? Yeah, and I think that's where I started off, like looking at some courses. I know that my dog won't enjoy what's on that course because of the way it's set, because we don't enjoy those elements of whatever's on
But
that
is
course.
your dog not enjoying it because you're not enjoying it?
Yeah, maybe it's just something that it's just weaker in our partnership. But
yeah,
I look at it going, that doesn't motivate me, so then I don't think it would motivate him either.
Yeah.
So we sort of motivate
I think
each
we're
other.
both sounding grumpy.
Yeah, a little bit. Well, I think it was just a good question, and it's a good question for everybody else to answer. Obviously, they can comment as much as they can, but on the video and stuff, and just let us know what
people are
think.
interacting loads more with our stuff, and I love it. I really am enjoying people's opinions because we're not right, we're not wrong. It's just our opinion that we give. And so maybe a question for everybody is, if it's not a qualifier or you're not chasing qualifiers, have you walked away from courses? Please don't bash our judges, but have you walked away from courses? Do you decide not to run a course? And the reasons for you deciding that something's not right for you. I think that would be a really good talking point.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, if we can get as many comments on that would be ideal. Perfect. I think we'll wrap that up there. That was good. Yeah, we'll wrap that up.
In the meantime, we'll be less grumpy.
We'll be less grumpy next time for sure.
And go run
once we've had a little bit more vitamin D, we'll be fine.
Loving the sun, loving it.
Right, we'll catch you all later.
Take care, Stuart. Bye.
Bye.